Okay, here we go. Law of sines. This is a nice review lesson for us. We covered this last year in Algebra 2. So, law of sines. If triangle ABC is a triangle, and I drew a nice little triangle here for you, we use capital letters to indicate the angles and lowercase letters for the side opposite that angle. You may use a reciprocal form, and you'll notice as I work them out, I flip between the two, and that if I'm looking for a side, I use this one. And when I'm looking for an angle, I use this one. So I vary it. From geometry, you're supposed to remember that you can do law of sines with angle, angle, side, angle, side, angle, side, angle, side, 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 side. Last year we finally did the side, side angle. That's the donkey. That's the special case. It is possible, but we have something called the ambiguous case, and I will go over that again with you this year. So here we go. In example 1, what you want to do is always draw a picture and figure out which case you have. If it's side, side angle, we've got to figure out the situation. Otherwise, you can proceed and do it like you always do. I do not care if you draw the triangles to scale or not. The idea is to just get the gist of what's happening. So when I draw my triangle and put the given information, I can tell I've got angle, angle, side. And notice I already put that on there for you. Angle, angle, side. So this is going to be one triangle, no worries. We can easily find angle A by adding these two together and subtracting from 180. I did that and got 49 degrees. Something I want to mention so that nobody loses a point here and there for little things. If it helps you to put it on the triangle, that's fine. But in the body of your work, it needs to be somewhere outside the triangle in a circle or a box, okay? So don't just put it on your triangle because I will not go hunting for your answers. They need to be clearly circled or boxed. Now, with this, if I start with the givens, I could find side C first. So notice what I mentioned is it depends on what I'm looking for as to which way I set up my law of sines. So if I'm going to be looking for side C, and whenever possible, you should use your given information instead of an answer that might include a rounded answer. I don't want you to get frustrated when you check your answers in the back of the book and you're off then by like 0.2 and 0.3 and 0.4. If you're using rounded answers and you round again, you get further and further off. Okay? So now, do you guys remember? This is a proportion cross multiply, and I know some of you can just type it all in your calculator, which is absolutely fine. But in case you're looking for what you do formally, you cross multiply and divide. So I got side C was about 55.75. If there are units indicated in the problem, include your units. This was in feet. And you notice there's going to be a lot of stuff you're working out. So please make sure on the things that you're finding, you circle or box them so I can find it. Now the last thing I need is side A. So this is A over the sine of 49. Now you have two choices. You can either use C, angle C with side C, or B with angle B. You should stick with the givens if possible. That's what I'm referring to is, now this is rounded, and then you round in the problem again. That's how you get further away. So let's stick with what was given in the problem, and we'll be able to stay closer to it. All right, so cross multiply and divide. And I got A was 43.06 feet. So if a problem says solve a triangle, it means find the remaining angles and sides. Okay, do you guys remember this? and draw a picture in example 2, and here's what I do. Probably not the best. I just draw a random triangle, and I'm not worried about are they obtuse or acute angles. Your figure's just to help you determine what do you have. If you'd like to be much more precise, you're welcome to it, but it's not required. Before you begin the problem, you need to identify, do I have angle, side, 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 angle, side, what do I have? So can you tell that what's different between example 1 and example 2 is the side is in between the two angles. So that's why it's angle, side, angle, one triangle, I'm good to go. So angle C, you add up 61 plus 74, subtract from 180. And then you can do law of sines. So I'm going to go ahead and find side B first. Or I guess I could have found A, couldn't I? So I got B was about 40.78. There's no units, so I don't put any units. Side A, and I got A was 37.11. You guys get that? Okay. All right, so not very interesting. This is what we've done before. In the next 3 examples, here's where it's going to get interesting. And I want you to write down, we did this last year. Let's go ahead and we'll start with our picture, and then we'll talk about this because this is the donkey case. If angle A is 26 degrees, side B is 5, and side A is 21. Do you see? That is, in fact, side angle. I know I don't need to say this. Don't ever write it in the other order, okay? Now, there are 2 cases to side angle. Case 1. If the missing angle is less than the given angle, then you get one triangle. Case 2, if the missing angle is greater than the given angle, then there's no triangle or 2 triangles. And we'll see how that works. So you guys use your notes as you work through your homework problems. You'll notice on the assignment sheet that you have, it says there's a worksheet with 6.1 and with 6.2. It's actually one worksheet, so I'll pass, I haven't photocopied it yet, so I'll pass it out tomorrow, but that won't be due until 6.2 is done, because it's a combination of law of sines and law of cosines. So it's actually one worksheet, but it'll cover both sections. Yeah.
Is 6.2 a 2-day lesson as well?
Yes. So we're going to move nice and slowly. Okay, nice and slowly here. We're also going to do a pod race activity after we finish 6.2 Star Wars from episode 1. So it'll be a situation that's based on that where you're going to solve some problems. You know, where's Anakin and where did his you know, at what angle did he go and how far and stuff. So it's kind of neat. All right, so let's figure out, okay, I'm telling you, we're talking about a missing angle. Well, right now when I look at the picture, I have two angles I don't know. But which one in this diagram is considered the missing angle? It's B. Why is it B? Why is B considered the missing angle? Because we know it's opposite side. Okay, so if I look at angle B, I've got to remember my geometry, that from the largest side, its opposite angle is the largest angle. Okay, so across from B is 5, across from A is 21. So that means angle B is smaller. So this means I have one triangle, no worries. But you have to consider it, you guys. I will have students who don't draw any pictures, and then they get these wrong every time. I'm like, well, if you don't know what your situation is, if you don't know that it's side-side angle, then you don't know whether you're looking for no triangle or two triangles, what's the missing angle, and so on. So take the time to draw the diagram and figure out what do you have. So this means I can go with sine B over 5 equals the sine 26 degrees over 21. So what I mentioned previously is I will flip. If I'm looking for an angle, I put the sines on the top. If I'm looking for a side, I put the sides on the top. Now, it's a proportion, and I'm going to cross multiply. Now, this one can be a little bit tricky for students. So let me try to go through this the first time carefully. And after that, like, we've already done this last year, so we should know how to do this. But I'll go ahead and take my time on this one. And then after that, if you need extra help, come in at math study table and I can do more of them. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out my calculator and I'm going to do 5 sine 26 degrees over 21, and I'm going to make sure I'm in degree mode. I am. Maybe. There we go. Alright, so on this one, I have 5 sine 26. I'm going to go ahead and just press enter and divide by 21. And I'm getting let's say 104. Now to figure out the angle inside a sine, to undo the sine, this is where you do inverse sine of 0.104. And so I got 5.99, so I'm just going to say that's 6 degrees. If I know angle A and angle B, I can add those two together, subtract from 180, and get angle C then. I got 148 degrees. Then the last thing we need to do is find side C. So that's C over the sine of 148 equals, and then remember what I told you, stick with givens if possible, because we rounded angle B. So if I use a rounded answer and round again, I can sometimes get too far off. Now, do you guys recognize this is the easy cross multiply divide? So I got C was 25.39. It does not matter how you round. You know, just kind of check the back of the textbook to see, did they go 2 places? Then you go 2 places. All right, any questions on that one? So, this was case 1. The missing angle was smaller, so it was one triangle. All right, notice we're going to do 3 of this type, so we're going to see all 3 types. So, here we go. Let's call it triangle ABC. Angle B is 78 degrees. Side C is 12. Side B is 5. So again, it's side angle. We need to then determine, is this case 1 or case 2? Well, the missing angle's larger. Okay, angle C has to be larger. So this is either no triangle or 2 triangles. So let's see what we get. So I'm going to take the sine of C over 12, equals the sine of 78 degrees over 5. So I'll cross multiply. And divide by 5. So I'm going to take 12 sine 78 and divide by 5. Now at that point, you guys should not continue on your calculators, but second period they did. Whoops, that's sine C, right? What's wrong with sine C equals 2.34? Okay, the sine function oscillates between -1 and +1. It's not possible, but if you went on autopilot and did second sine 2.34, it gives you an error message. So that's the nice thing. It tells you there's no triangle, okay? I'm hoping we won't do that we will hit this point and say, uh-oh, that's not possible. All right, so let's do the third one, and this is going to be the one where we end up with 2 triangles. So let's draw our picture. A is 29 degrees, side A is 6, side B is 10. So it's side-side angle. So I strongly recommend draw a picture and identify what you have, what type of triangle. Then, if it's side-side angle, that's the only one that you have to be concerned with. If it's angle, side, angle, 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 side, it's one triangle every time. It's a unique triangle. I'm going to explain why on this one, why we have to be careful with side-side angle. So the missing angle's larger, so it's no triangle or 2 triangles. You don't know until you start working it, which one it is. So let's go ahead and start it. Let's find sine B over 10 equals the sine 29 degrees over 6. So I'm going to cross multiply and get 6 sine B equals 10 sine 29 degrees. You do as much work as you need to see, your pre-calc students. So I'm going to take 10 sine 29, press enter, and divide by 6. So I got 0.808. So to figure out B, I'm doing inverse sine of 0.808. Now you guys, do not round here in the body of your work. You can do second sine, second answer. Do you remember that? Leave that long decimal there, because then if you rounded in the middle and round again, you get further and further off. So 53.9, let's make that 54 degrees. Now here's the deal. All students take calculus. When I have sine B, when I'm right here, sine B equals 0.808. That could either be 54 degrees from the x-axis in the first quadrant, or it actually could have been an obtuse angle in the second quadrant, and I don't know which one I have. Does that make sense? That when you're right here, I don't know which one it is. I've got 2 possibilities. So, what I need you to do when it's 2 triangles, you can put first quadrant, or the acute angle B is 54 degrees. The second one is actually an obtuse triangle. How would we figure out what angle B is if it were in the second quadrant or obtuse?
180 minus 54.
Good job. 180 minus 54, and that's 126. Now your givens remain given. Those are fixed. A is 29 degrees, side A is 6, and side B is 10. Those are fixed. But my angle C's are going to be different depending on which triangle I have. So in the first, I'm going to go ahead and solve the first one, and then we go back through and do the second one. So to find angle C, you take 29 degrees plus 54 degrees and subtract from 180. I did that and got 97 degrees. Then the only thing missing is side C. So you take C over the sine of 97 degrees, and I'm going to use my given, so it's 6 over the sine 29. Cross multiply and divide. And I'm getting C is 12.28. So that's the first triangle. The second triangle, now angle B was obtuse, 126 degrees. You're going to take 29 plus 126, subtract from 180, and I got C was 25 degrees. And then you're going to find out what side C is with this angle C. And again, keep with your givens. You cross multiply and divide.